Whenever you achieve a big goal, you always find out who your real friends are. A lot of people doubt you, a lot of people ignore you, a lot of people don't encourage you. Have you ever worked really hard towards a goal, sometimes for years, and then when you actually reach that goal, instead of being happy and celebrating, you just move on to the next thing? That's how I've been feeling a little bit after 3 years towards working towards becoming a music producer and finally releasing my first EP yesterday. So I want to share with you a little bit behind the scenes of how I got here in case it can help you too. So if we're meeting for the first time, my name is KIQI. I've been DJing for the past 5 years, and 3 years ago, I started my first music production classes to learn Ableton Live, and both of these have been such a journey that at many times I actually felt like quitting. Now, I always wanted to be a DJ, and I didn't really know why, because I didn't actually feel very naturally musically inclined. I used to play piano as a little kid, and my grandfather was a violinist, but I had to work really hard at it. Like, I was never the kind of person who could just sit down and play a song on the piano. I had to work really hard. I had to spend a lot of time just trying to memorize songs to be able to play them at my piano recitals. So at a very young age, I kind of got this idea that I wasn't a musician, or that I wasn't creative, or I wasn't an artist, and I'm not exactly sure where that belief comes from, but it took me many years before I actually worked up the courage to take my first DJ lesson. And I didn't really take it seriously until the pandemic started, and we all had a little bit of extra time, but I pretty much was just hiding out in my apartment, in my living room, being like a bedroom DJ for the first couple of years before I finally enrolled in a DJ course, and I started meeting other people in person and got the opportunity to play my first gig. I kind of burnt myself out after that, just playing a lot of gigs on the weekends, staying up really late, going out to support other people, networking. You might know if you're in the music industry, and always in the back of my head was the idea that I needed to produce music, but I still had that limiting belief that I wasn't a musician. I didn't really know how to play an instrument well, and I couldn't really do it. But you know how it is with a dream when it's something that you really want to do and you're not pursuing it. It's not like it just leaves your head. You still think about it, but it just causes anxiety because you're not actually doing it. This can result in a lot of adverse side effects like procrastination, drug and alcohol abuse, overworking, keeping yourself too busy, overeating. There's like a lot of things that we humans do when we're not following our path. And I don't know why we do it. I guess we're afraid to do it. But I've, done a lot of different things to try to distract myself from one of my purposes in life, which is to make music. So finally, 3 years ago, my friend and I signed up for some music production classes in Miami, where I'm based at the moment. Currently, I'm in Colombia because I was just playing some gigs this last week, which I will share with you here on the channel. But yeah, we were in Miami, we signed up for these classes, and honestly, after a few months, we felt like we didn't really learn anything. We were such beginners that it was like learning Greek to us, and it was really frustrating and like demotivating. But I'm a pretty stubborn person, so I continued doing classes. I sought out other teachers. I took another program, but I really wasn't very dedicated with practicing enough, and I was like really busy with work, so nothing ever really happened. And then the next year, I actually flew to Manchester in the UK and signed up for a music production class with the School of Electronic Music Production there. And again, I felt like I was really spinning my wheels. Like, I didn't finish any tracks. I felt really confused about Ableton, and I just didn't really feel like I made a lot of progress. But I recently saw a sign when I was in the Netherlands, and it was on a construction site, and it said, just because things are moving slowly doesn't mean nothing is happening. And I feel like that's so relevant whenever you try to achieve a big goal that involves thousands of little tiny steps, like learning how to produce music and releasing your first tracks and EPs and albums. It's like for a long time it looks like you're not going anywhere, and then all of a sudden you start to realize exponential returns, and that's kind of what happened in this case. And I think that your lack of knowledge as a beginner can actually help you more than it hurts you, because when I first started, I mean, I was making a lot of loops that sounded really, really bad because I did not understand anything, like what key songs should be in, or music structure, or how to make a bass line or a drum pattern. Like, I literally had no idea. And so I was making up my own techniques that now when I look back at what I was doing a year ago, like, it's hard for me to even remember how I did certain things that a trained musician would never do. So if you're at the beginning phase of something, like, really lean into that beginner's mind and don't be afraid to make mistakes, because there's a reason why in the creative world there's the term happy accidents, and it's because when you mess up sometimes, that's when the best things happen. Like just now in a track that I'm working on this month, I accidentally split a sound into like a bunch of different pieces, but it actually sounded way cooler than the way that I had it when I was trying to make a pad. So yeah, and everything is exponential. Like all of those like little steps that you make, then eventually it all starts to come together, and there's no better feeling than when all of like the little things that you've been learning add up into like one whole song arrangement, for example, or whatever the thing is that you're doing. After coming back to Miami the following year, I signed up for yet another music production class. I know. And finally, things started to click. I actually finished my first track, which is called No Reason. That came out yesterday, actually. I'll link to that below. I finished that one with my then music production teacher, so he helped me out a lot. But the big win came when I finished a track all by myself right after that, in the month following, that I actually created like a 30-day Ableton challenge for myself, and I was going to publish it here on the channel, but I didn't because I only made it 15 days before life happened. Like my dog got sick, a bunch of stuff happened, and I just kind of abandoned the project. But I did finish the track. I just never published those videos here on YouTube. And that track is called Rana, which means frog in Spanish, because the bass line sounds a bit like a frog. And that one's also coming out in the next month on one of Andre Salmon's labels. So finally I felt like I was like making progress. I was finishing tracks, but it was still another year of like stops and starts and doubting myself and messing up and not knowing if my music was good enough before we actually got to here with this video, where my first EP is out. I have a Beatport profile, and I have 3 more EPs coming out this summer, plus 2 more tracks on the way. So I really wanted to just take this time to say thank you to you guys for supporting me, because something that I found on this creative journey, and maybe you have as well, is that a lot of people doubt you, a lot of people ignore you, a lot of people don't encourage you, and you really have to like stay self-motivated, but also really lean on those people that do help you. And that is a lot of you here on the channel, all 2,786 people here who have believed in me, who believe in my music, who enjoy my DJ mixes. You don't know how much this means to me and how much it's helped me keep going during times when the people that I know, like in real life, other DJs and music producers, aren't always super supportive. So, you know, whenever you achieve a big goal, you always find out who your real friends are. And this scenario has been no different with people I've known for years, either like not supporting, not sharing, not even responding, like leaving me on red for whatever reason, you know, who knows. But there has been like that core group of people that really have supported, and some of those are you guys. Whoa, I just fell down this hill. Anyway, I just realized that I filmed this entire video with the microphone not working, and then it started raining, and then I tried again and I didn't press record. So we're on like take 3 of this video, but hey, that's also part of the journey, am I right? But yeah, as somebody who has worked in a lot of different industries and has grown different businesses and platforms from zero to something quite a lot bigger than myself with a nice community, I can say that it really doesn't matter if you know, make $1 million or reach 100,000 Instagram followers, or however many tracks you produce, or like money that you make, whatever it is, like that is only going to be satisfying in a fleeting moment compared to all the fulfillment that you get in those hard times along the way. And when I look back at the past 3 years and all the people who have doubted me, all of the times that I felt like I doubted myself and that I couldn't do it, or I was really frustrated, like banging my head against the computer trying to do something on Ableton, or spending a lot of money, like thousands of dollars, on music production classes and flying to different countries and all of the hours behind the scenes that you don't really see. When you get to this point, it's, of course, this is just the first step in a long music career, hopefully, but it's really important to look back and see how you got here, all of the people that helped you and that were a part of that, because you wouldn't be here on your own.
¿Para el poblado?
Aquí arriba y calle 8 hacia adentro. People always ask me for directions when I travel. Like, even for this No Reason EP, there's a lot of other producers and artists that collaborated on it. One of them I met through this YouTube channel and publishing DJ mixes and tagging artists in my video descriptions and getting in touch with labels, and also people that master and mix tracks and getting on their promo lists. And through all of this kind of like online networking is how I met people that were helping me with these tracks and now created what it is today. In fact, the entire reason that I'm here in Colombia is because I'm currently in another music production course, which is called Groove Taste Academy, which is based out of Medellin, Colombia. And a couple of fellow students from my DJ classes a few years ago invited me to play last weekend in a tiny village called Restrepo, which I'll be sharing the set with you here on YouTube. It's my first time playing on the hybrid setup in public, so I can't wait to share that with you. But I wouldn't be here right now if those other fellow DJs and students hadn't believed in me in all of these years and invited me to come play and given me a good set time and a good opportunity. And then my current music production teachers from Medellin, when they found out that I was coming here, they also helped me to play at a bar in Medellin. So all of these little things along the way, these experiences, like standing out in the rain, fucking up your video 4 times before you actually record it properly, like that is all part of the journey. And a lot of times people are just showing like the cool part about whatever it is they're doing, whether it's like private jets or like the most perfect relationship or the most beautiful house or the coolest car or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, like stretching yourself towards a goal, it's like working a muscle, and you get the most out of it from that activity of taking one step in front of the other every single day, and not necessarily when you get to the top of the mountain or the end of the yellow brick road. So I hope that this video has given you some encouragement for whatever work or life or creative project that you're working on right now. If you'd like to follow my journey, then make sure to subscribe here to my channel. I'll link to my new EP below if you'd like to listen to that, and I'll also link to some other videos right here about the process.